We stand with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hoorah. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We have a few guests, and you're always welcome, and I hope you enjoy our evening. I want to take a moment and thank some people that really, a lot of you guys and ladies come to these meetings, but you don't see what happens behind the scenes. We have a wonderful board that supports all this and gets ready for it. We also have a wonderful set of directors. I'm not including myself in that. We have Jason, who's the vice president. We have Rita, who is the secretary, who's doing an outstanding job. And my lovely wife over here is the treasurer and also our IT person. And I guess I shouldn't say works her butt off, but she does. So I want to thank all those people. And I thank you for being here. And I've got a presentation to make. Gregory.
I didn't do it.
I know that. Well, we're blaming you anyway. Come on up here. I want you on this camera here. Yeah, come on up. It doesn't bite.
What doesn't bite?
That's for all your years at Bell.
All right.
You made mine when I retired.
Yeah.
I made yours when you retired.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, enjoy it. We're going to do show and tell, and what I'm going to ask you to do, which is the easiest thing to do since the camera's already set up, is pick up your piece, walk over here, tell us about it, and put it back down, and we'll go to the next person. So,
by the way, we're streaming on Zoom, so
yes, we're
trying to do a hybrid meeting for folks who can't make it. And so we've got a couple people on our Zoom who are members, and they're here with us too. But they can see you through the camera and hear you through that microphone.
and that's going to be our future. We're going to do all these as hybrids, and maybe one day we'll actually get all these cameras and audio and everything else working together. So each month is a challenge. Who's on the end down here? Is that yours, Bill? Watch the cord, Bill. I'll get it for you. Right here's in the camera. Okay. Camera's behind you, so turn. There you go.
Keep going. Okay. This is a piece of cherry. A tree trimmer came behind and gave me a whole truckload of all kinds of wood in this piece of it. I invited the group to come out and get some wood, and Rita came out and caught this piece this big, and she didn't think I could pick it up, so she carried it over to my workshop for me. But I got it on my lathe anyhow. This is what I call double turn. You put the log on long and you spin it this way, and then you burn the lines on it. Then you put it on sideways and turn this part out, and that gets rid of all the lines down here. So that makes sense? But the cherry worked real well, but it was really wet. And I didn't think it was going to dry, but it did. It's pretty dry now. Anything else I want to know?
Is any of these others up here as usual? These other pieces?
I think those are Elijah's.
Thank you. Elijah, you're up. Make history. All right. Right over there where people can see you.
Can't hear you.
And hear you.
That's the microphone right in front of you.
Okay. This is my first bowl. So I made it with.
That's a nice bowl.
It is. It is.
And Don says, "Nice bowl, Bill."
So
Sorry, there's a little delay.
Yeah, there's a delay. You'll probably get a nice
So-
little comment in a second.
I made this with plenty of help, especially from Jack and Jason. You know, I can tell it's my first bowl, but I chose the wood nicely. It's a burl from an oak. There's a lot of fungus in it. And then I finished it with Danish oil.
I'd just like to note, it's not a dog bowl.
Yeah.
So how many people know turners that have been turning 5 years or more that don't turn bowls that nice. Yeah, so there you go.
Okay, so this is my second piece.
Like that.
It was just kind of an experiment. It was a log from the woods behind my house. I think it's such as an M. Not
Magnolia.
I think it's magnolia, but it's debatable. And so I
You
did
know
this.
what? Here's a wood lesson, a wood identification lesson. Anybody who doesn't know is going to turn the piece over and read the wood that's on the bottom, and that's what it is.
Okay.
What the artist calls it.
So I'll stamp it as magnolia. And again, this was made with plenty of help from Jason. So thanks.
Jason, you're up.
So I've just got two pieces I brought that were made. Oh, hold on. Got to get by the microphone. Two pieces I brought that were made with some Chinese elm that dropped in Jack's neighborhood. We still have two pieces of this for sale in our amazing wood sale tonight. There's a lot of nice stuff, so hopefully you guys brought some cash to buy. What I did with this piece, the Chinese elm has a really nice open grain, so I dyed it all indigo blue first and then sanded it back to kind of expose the grain, and then went and put some other colors in it. So
Jason, move left 2 feet. There you go.
so basically sanding out the darker color allowed this grain to really pop, which was kind of a fun.
Jason, when you say you dyed it all indigo blue first, do you mean you just like soaked it or sprayed it?
Spray dyes. So Jack taught me how to do dyeing and finishing, and so one technique you can do, particularly when you have a highly figured wood, is you can, if you've ever seen those guitars where they have maple with the starburst pattern on it, really beautiful colors, you can start with a darker color, sand it back with sort of a coarse grit sandpaper, apply your next medium color on there, sand it back with a slightly finer sandpaper, and go through all your colors up to really light, and you'll get a gradation on there. So I just did one color, for the base, but it was basically to get that grain really dark. So that's why you see that grain popping on there. I did the same thing with this one, but the effect was less, less pronounced. But if you look, this one had a really nice sort of quilting in it, the piece. I'm starting to get a little taller in my work, so I had to borrow Paula's. Thank you, Paula, for the system you've lent.
Put it on that camera.
Oh.
Flip parallel. Yeah.
There we go. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you can see some of the. Yeah, it's hard to see. This piece is a little bit darker, so it really needs good light on it to show up. But again, these were both bottom turned, similar to what I didn't blow up. I guess it's a good time to announce too the auction. That is not the piece I blew up. That's my practice piece that I passed around unfinished to prepare for the thing. So if I had not blown up that other piece, you would have seen that beautiful horn on the top. So anyway, so that's what I was intending to show. So that piece is up for auction and for the clip. So, raffle.
Now,
Yeah, raffle.
for people who are watching this, how thick is your walls on that?
On that one?
Repeat your question into the mic.
3 millimeters.
So the question was how thick is your wall thickness on the different pieces? A short piece like that, I'm usually around 1/8, maybe 3/16 in some
You
areas.
did it through the top.
No, from the bottom. So I take the hole out of the bottom. So the only thing I do from the bottom is I'll drill all the way through, and then I'll come back in on the top. So for this one, this is all hollowed from the bottom. And when I do my drilling through, I'll just drill out the other end. And then when I go to finish the piece, I'll come in and turn that top. So that's that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Bill, since you brought that up, Bill, the 2023 Florida Symposium has a date set. It is the first weekend in February. Once again, I will be demonstrating. 3 years in a row, they've asked me to demonstrate. Can you believe that? Man. And that's one of the things I will be demonstrating, how to do a long neck coliform pollard from the bottom. Okay. There will be a sawdust session at my house Saturday, starting at 9. If you do not know where I live, get with Stephanie or Rita, and they will give you directions or a map if we've still got some around to get you there. The weather is supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be nice and cool, only going up to about 75. So we'll throw the pop-up tent out, bring out 3 or 4 leis and have some fun. Are we dealing with any old business we need to discuss? Anybody know of anything that needs to come up? How about new business? Anybody want to raise anything for the club? Don't everybody speak at once. Oh, help me out. Yes, Paula.
Stephanie, do we have that questionnaire ready to do?
Yeah, but we can do it on paper at the class session.
The question was, do we have a questionnaire? I know that a questionnaire is being developed, and the reason for it is we want to know a couple of things. We want to know what your turning level is so that we can tailor our demonstrations for that. We also want to know what you're interested in seeing so we can have appropriate people turn what you're interested in. We don't want to get up here and waste your time and do something that nobody's interested in. So, the club's here for the members, and that's the only reason it exists is for y'all. It doesn't exist for me. I'm just standing up here and y'all are patient enough to listen to me talk. It exists for you. So, if you have ideas, you have things, directions you want the club to go in, you need to bring them up so that we'll know. Board meets once a month. We meet roughly a week before this meeting. Those meetings are not, they're Zoom meetings. That is not sent out to the general club. However, they're open meetings. So if you want to attend one of our board meetings, if you'll let us know, we'll put you on that email list and send you a Zoom link to be there. You won't have any voting privileges, but we'll certainly listen to what you have to say. Other things. You see all that wood back there, folks? If you buy a piece of that sweet gum, you're not paying for the wood. You're paying for the morning that Jason and I stood in a ditch this deep and cut that 500-pound piece of wood and rolled it up out of that ditch to get it in the back of my truck. So if you want that piece of wood and it is too big for your lathe, if you buy it, Saturday, we'll break out a chainsaw and we'll cut it appropriately. If you want to, Saturday, we'll break out some coring tools and we will core bowls out of it. If you don't buy it and it's left up to me, it's either going to get cored or it's going to end up in the fireplace because I got more wood than I know what to do with. So yes. Yeah.
Repeat the question. Repeat the question.
Well, I can't.
Repeat the
Good
question.
people can get 5. I can get 4, maybe.
Repeat the question.
The question was, is coring making multiple bowls out of one piece of wood? And yes, it is. Okay, there's basically 3 different cores. And I think that, are y'all interested in seeing it demoed? Because we have an offer from somebody to demonstrate that next month. David was going to be a demonstrator next month, but he had surgery this month, and next month his wife's dragging him off to the Neverland somewhere on vacation. And he's a smart man. He's a smart married man. He's going. He's not going to be here turning for us. But Don Penny is doing a coring demo for Jacksonville Club next month, and he has offered to do that for us. And Don, if you're out there, I just threw you under the bus, buddy.
It's not on Zoom.
Okay, well, then we'll send him an invite anyway. He's offered. I'll have to confirm that, and I'm sure he'll be fine with it. So, and for Jacksonville, he's coring with all 3 different cores. So I own a one-way system. Paula owns a woodcut system, or it's a woodcut system, and she also owns the McNaughton. So, and they were kind of in that order of use. The woodcut's the easiest to use. The one-way is second, and the McNaughton has the highest learning curve, but also it's probably the most versatile if you want to learn it. I gave up on it. So, anything else we need to discuss? We have you can buy tickets for this up here. I'm going to take a short break because Rita wants to get ready to do demonstration, and thank you, Rita, for demonstrating this much. She's a little nervous, so let's be gentle on her, okay? Rita, if they ask you questions, you'll need to repeat it so the people in the audience will hear it. If not, Stephanie will correct you. So let's take just a minute so you guys can go look at some wood and maybe buy some wood because I don't want to carry it back home. And remember, the people next door, They're serving different types of beverages. They're volunteers. So if you go over there to get something, treat them appropriately. So think about,
Tip the staff.
huh?
Tip the staff.
Tip the staff. So
And we got
7:30, that'll be 6 minutes. I'm gonna give you 6 minutes to sling some wood out there, sling some money, buy some wood.
Okay, so, safety first, of course.
Rita.
You want us to deliver that?
It's right here. Okay, so I'm gonna put on my turning smock. Make sure my hair is out of the way. Put my
Let's get
mask
everybody,
on.
let's get everybody in their seat.
Okay. Okay.
Give it an extra 5 minutes.
Is that red butter or dogwood?
Looks like red bud.
Okay, good. That's what it is then. That's dogwood.
Yes. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Whatever.
Well, Paula brought it for me, you know.
Rita's going to demonstrate it for us tonight. This is her second demonstration.
But first solo.
First solo. She and I did one together on Zoom about a year ago.
Yeah.
So,
Rita, back up so they can see your head.
oh, I'm done. I'm out of here. It's Rita now.
Yeah.
Tilted up just a hair.
Okay. Okay.
I'll get her.
Yeah, here I am. Okay, so I tied my hair back. I'm putting on my mask. If you have any questions during the demo, I'm demoing mushrooms. And you can make them any size you want. Cedar is my favorite wood because I love it. It turns beautifully and I love it, but it's very odoriferous. So I like it. I like the smell. Some people don't. So I'm doing dogwood tonight and redbud. And like I said, you can make them as big as you want or as small as you want. You can cut them on the slant so that they give a slant. And you know, even when they crack, they're just kind of cute. I like the cracks. It gives them character. And then I'm going to demonstrate bells. This is one out of camphor, and again, camphor is very odoriferous, but it's my favorite wood to turn. And so we'll start with the mushroom. So just put it on the lathe like that. And then this one. And I have some tips for everybody that I had to learn the hard way. So, and I'm sure people told me, but I'm sure I forgot. So I'm telling them again. And the first thing is the tenon is very important. That's the thing that holds your piece in the chuck, and it's very important that you get it right. Okay, and here it is. Okay, and my mask. Okay, and let's see. I'm not sure how to turn it on.
Pull the switch out, then turn the knob. Yeah, turn it.
Oh, this knob. Okay, great. Okay. One of the other things I found is that if you can turn as fast, for me, it's easier to turn fast than slow. I don't know. It's as comfortable as you can make it, but for me, it's easier to turn fast. So we'll make it round. And I'm going to leave a little bit of bark on the bottom and on the bottom of the mushroom. And also, you know, I tend to make things too, I try to squeeze in as much wood as I can. So when I use it, I put a mark because I don't want to get too close to the chuck. I want to make sure I have enough room, and also if I have my tool going, I don't want to go off the end. But that's just me. So I'm going to make a little mark for myself. Okay, that's not enough for a tenon. Okay. Oh, and my sweet husband made this little thing for me to size the tenon, and that may be just right.
So Rita, when you put the piece on initially, did you just try to roughly center it up?
The question is, when I put the piece on, do I try and rough and center
Roughly
it up?
center it up.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. And you know, I had this tool in my case for a long time, and I didn't know what it was for. And my friend Jack showed me what it was for. So you can get your tenon really nice with this. Okay. I'm sorry?
What tool are you using?
Oh, this is, the question is, what tool am I using? This is just a bowl gouge, just a big bowl gouge. And I like that the bark stays on. And Paula, thank you for this beautiful piece of dogwood. It's beautiful. Wood donated by Paula. Also, I was talking about the tenons, very important. When you have wet wood also, when you put your piece in the tenon, you need it, when you tighten it down, you need to check it every now and then, so because it's wet wood and it squeezes out. So every now and then stop your lathe and check the tightness on the wet wood. And then I have this handy dandy little hollower, and I'm gonna get up under the mushroom neck with that. And actually, I can do this without even putting it in a chuck. I need to raise this a little bit.
Rita, why is the tenon on the top of the mushroom instead of the bottom?
You can put it wherever you want. I prefer it on the top because sometimes I cut my mushrooms, I cut them at a slant, and I want to keep the slant on the bottom. You can probably cut it afterwards. The question was why to put the tenon on the top instead of the bottom, but I like it. It's just the way I do it. It seems to work out better for me. You know, everybody's different. Every wood turner has their way of doing stuff, you know, but that seemed to work out. But I started putting it on the bottom, and then my mushrooms didn't turn out so well. So I just put it on the top. You know, if one way doesn't work, try another way. And if you have 10 wood turners, you have 10 opinions. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells wonderful.
Are you just saying that type power you're using? I've not seen one like that.
Oh, this
Is it a cutter or is it more a scraper?
it's a scraper, and
It's a scraper.
yeah, Danny Hoffman made that for me.
Okay, it's sort of a curve.
It's just a curve with
Like a spoon shape.
yeah, it is. It's kind of undercut.
Uh huh.
Can you hold it over the piece so the button never get it?
Oh,
Yeah. So it's sort of a spoon shape. So it does have a.
is that it?
Yeah. Okay, so it's actually concave or convex.
Well,
Cut off.
it's flat on the top. The top is very flat, and then it's kind of like a negative rake scraper, and then it's what do you call that? Not cantilevered. I know that's the wrong word, but kind of. Yeah.
Just turn it in that. Okay, I see it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of halfway between a hook tool and a scraper.
Yeah,
A spoon scraper.
yeah. Yes, yeah.
Sharp spoon.
It's
A
really
sh-
neat.
Yeah, it really, and I
The critical part on that is the tip is equal to the shaft of the handle, so it does.
Chattery, right.
yeah.
Right.
And the best way to sharpen this is like on one of these diamonds.
Yeah, I'll just have to come afterwards.
Yeah. Come up and look at all this stuff. Like I said, Danny Hoffman made that for me, And you have to make sure also that when you're using it, it's the same as a hook tool. You can't get it, you can't put the tool rest, you have to put it past that curve. And this is just a bowl gouge too, just smaller. And this is when that divot that I put in there comes into play for me, because my tool is like this and it doesn't go boom, right into the, it stops it because, whoops, it stops it because this thing is right here. Let's see if I can get this closer. And that's another thing, when you change your tool rest, make sure you always spin it around once to make sure it fits. Okay, David, get ready. And there we go. Just take a little sandpaper on the top, and you have your rustic. Isn't that cute? And you can make them a minute, and people like them,
Pass it around, Rita.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
So Rita, when you try to get an angle, how do you treat that different?
Oh, well, what I do.
Please repeat the question.
Oh, when Jason was asking when I get an angle, like when this one that doesn't, it sits at an angle. What I usually do is I cut it to begin with at an angle, and then I make that the bottom. It just.
Okay, so you're actually putting a little bit of an offset.
Yeah, yeah. So it looks like I was really cool, and
You are really cool. So you need to own that.
Okay.
Rita, what do you make a
Sometimes I use it. Sometimes, the question is, why did I make a tenon on that one? Because sometimes I use it and sometimes I don't, and if it gets to be, like I said, sometimes my wood, I use every little teeny piece and I get way down in there and I'm thinking, oh man, this isn't going to work out, but it does. And if I use the tenon, sometimes I have a little more wood and a little more control. Yeah. let's see, I was gonna tell you, okay. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to the bell. And this is a little bit big for a bell, but it'll probably make two bells, but that's okay. Okay, so just find a middle about. And lock that up. Okay, first of all, again, we're going to make it round. And that's another thing, when you do your tailstock, when you're putting this on your tailstock, you know, for me, I found that sometimes when I'm turning and then the tailstock, you know, it get kind of loose and it'll stop and stop and stop. And I've got the tailstock up. Sometimes I'll put the handle like this. So if it's going to fall down, it's going to fall down instead of fall back and fall out. Does that make sense? You know, like it's the pressure will go down instead of fall back. Okay, first we're going to make it round. Okay, spun it around to make sure it'll. This is one of my favorite tools. It's a thick parting tool, and I love this thing. It helps me make my pens, I think, better. Yeah, that's about right. So let's see if it's wide enough. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, again, I'm going to put my little stop mark. Okay. Okay. Now we'll put it in the chuck now. Because this one I have to put in the chuck because you have to hollow it out. Well, I guess I really have that in there. Uh-huh.
On Zoom, they said they can hear you really well.
Uh-huh.
Thank you very much. They can even hear the tools drop.
Okay, so what I do is I bring my tailstock up after I put it in the chuck, and it helps hold it helps hold the piece, but it also helps me align it to make sure that this is the center, because I can put it in the same center spot that it was in before, and then I'll tighten this down. And you know, some of these chucks go one way. You know, it's not always rightsy tightsy. You know, sometimes it's lefty tightsy, and you have to just, depending upon the chuck, you have to just.
Is it the Australian chucks that are the opposite?
Yeah.
That's right down there.
Yeah, yeah. It's down under, and I like it good and tight. Here's another little tip that I didn't know. You guys probably all know this, but I didn't know when I first started. These chucks, the jaws on it, they all have numbers on them. And, you know, I thought, okay, they have numbers, big deal. You know, and I put them all on, and the thing wiggled and wiggled and wiggled and wiggled. And I thought, what the heck? What is the problem with that? Well, they have corresponding numbers on the bottom of the chuck, and you have to correspond the numbers, or, you know, it wiggles a lot.
That kind of thing is really useful because some people might go years and years
Yeah.
and never know that.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, I had to find it out. I was at this class, and he said, and it was my first class, and he said, why is your wiggling so much? I said, I don't know. You're the teacher, you know. And he said, well, you got your chuck in there. And I said, yeah. And how does this just come out?
Yes, keep cranking. There you go.
Okay. And anyway, then we figured out that the numbers were all wrong.
Let it tighten the lock.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never lock mine. No, it's not locked.
Oh, it's full. Jason, I'll discuss.
Oh, Jason, you're
I
the
need to be
culprit.
your scapegoat, not be your scapegoat.
Okay, good. And
My
then
fault again.
Then I had this handy dandy little thing. It's a drill with a #2 Morse taper on it. And you just kind of, I just kind of eyeball it. And sometimes I'll even take a pen. I know I have a pen. Oh, I know. Sometimes I'll even take a pen and kind of mark where I want it to be. You know, how deep I want to go, because I don't want to go all the way through the bell, because then it's useless. Oh, look, I marked it and it's appropriate. So I'm going to turn my speed down now.
So when you decide to kind of hollow the bottom, like, or drill out the bottom, what's your thinking as to, like, on the last piece you didn't hollow it, but then this one you're hollowing it? Is it just a
Okay, the
different
question
technique?
is what is there between the last piece that I kind of hollowed.
Well, you hollowed under the rim.
The hollowed under the rim, yeah, but this one I'm going to go right in the center, and it's kind of like, you know, like when you hollow out a piece, you know, a hollow form, you just kind of, yeah.
Jason, this is gonna be the bell.
This is a bell though.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't follow that.
Yeah.
It's probably Gavin, so.
Usually a bell tunnel.
Yeah, no, gotcha. Yeah, this is the ball.
Okay, and you probably shouldn't go any faster than what, 500 on this, because you don't want your wood, if it heats it up, and you don't want the cells expanding and popping, so to speak. Oh, and another thing, make sure that when you put it in this end, where you mark is up so you can see it, so you're not, you know, doing one of those. My mark is right here, but if I turned it around and I couldn't see it, you know. Okay, and that's it. But I'm going to take this out because from experience, I know that I've hit my elbow with this and it doesn't feel good at all when you hit your elbow with a sharp instrument. And I'm a nut. I have to clean my tools right away. That's just me. Okay. And then, see the nice bark around it too? And that's going to stay. It's so pretty. Then I just take this and set it up about like that. And let's see. Okay, and so we're going to turn it on. We're going to go a little closer because I'm not going to use that other tool. I'm going to go a little faster too. And since you have your hole in there, it's as easier. Oh, here's another thing that I do. I almost forgot to tell you guys. Because I told you I'm prone to going too far, so to speak. So what I do is I kind of look at my tool. This is not an even edge. It's not round here. So I give myself, I look at where the smallest part is. And this one's pretty even. So I'm gonna put a little mark right here and see. See how far I've gone. Well, of course it doesn't show it. But I can go just slightly big. You see how thin that wall is right there? Are we on this camera?
Yeah, we are now.
Okay, you can see how thin this wall is right here. That's about as far as I want to go. I don't want to make it really, really thin. This is pretty good. Like I said, I use this to make a mark so I can know how far to go. And also so I don't go over. So I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. Can you see how uneven? Can you see how uneven this bell is? And I personally like them that way. If you want them flat, you can make them flat. You can make them however you want. I personally like kind of offset. Kind of gives it a little extra, I think. It's starting to grab. I think a little bit. I'm just going to check my tightness. Yeah. That's the inside. And then we'll just finish the outside and it'll be done. And then I'll give it a spin. That was just to give me a little more room to work. I'm trying to be very aware of my sleeve too. And there it is. And at home, I have a little drill press. And what I do is I take the top and I just make a little flat spot on it. Like that. And then I have this exquisite little tool that I made. It's a pin. And I just poke a little like starting place there. So that when your drill press comes down on it, it has a place to go and it doesn't go wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Anyway, so that's this one. And then I brought an example. Like I said, cedar's my favorite stuff, and I put a little hole in there with the drill press. Then you just take any kind. I go to garage sales and stuff like that and find these beads. You know, people sell necklaces and beads and stuff like that. These are so cool because you can use them in your then you just thread it through and tie it off, and there you have it. And that's it.
And if it cracks, it's a Liberty Bell.
That's right. If it cracks, it's a Liberty Bell. This would be a Liberty mushroom. And that's it.
Hey, Rita.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry?
The bell you just did?
Yeah, let me throw it to you. Yeah, but I personally like the bark on it. And that's it.
Harold Mills says, very good demo, bravo.
Oh, thanks. The one thing I did forget to mention is if you have bangs, you should always put your bangs up, which I didn't do. Because when you take this off, then your hair looks like this.
And it looks like you've got last call.
Last call for alcohol.
And you can finish these things, you can finish these things with any cheapo spray because they're rustic and they're just fun. You don't have to put any expensive finish on them, just some cheapo stuff.
Excellent. Thank you, Rita. So I encourage you, if you haven't done a demo, to share with us and do one.
Jack, don't stand on the things. Otherwise, you have no head.
I still have no head. So I encourage you to do a demonstration for us if you do something and you would like to share with us. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add to the evening?
It won't do that easily.
Yeah,
There you go.
there you go. If we still have some wood over here, if you'd like, you can still purchase some wood. Saturday sawdust session at my home. We'd love to see you. Does anybody have anything they need to bring up? Thank you for coming. If you want to say and help clean up, we appreciate it. And that's it. We'll see you next month. Great job. Great job.